I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm a proud product of the Chicago public school system. I went to Thomas H. Hendricks. I went to Chicago Vocational High School. I went to Northern Illinois. I got a master's from Moody Bible Institute. I have a doctorate from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Pretty basic guy. It takes me twice as long to grasp concepts of people probably smarter than me. I just work hard. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around how is it that someone that can break the law and then somehow cry victim. I'm talking about immigration. Our country, like all countries, have immigration policies that are clearly communicated. There's a process. And we have people sneaking in the Canadian border, the Mexico border, and then it's funny how President Obama started a certain program of separating families. President Trump continues that, and then President Trump is accused of putting people in cages. First of all, they weren't cages. They were separated, but they were treated very humanely. I guarantee you for 90, if not more, a percent of them, they got it better, 10 times better than they got it in the country which they fled. America is the greatest nation in human history. Oh yes, it has its problems. But for all of you complaining, negative, anti-American, where else would you want to go? I will personally give you I'll take my last money. I'll give you a plane trip to Russia, to North Korea. So anywhere in the Middle East. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Ricky, and you are at the Thinking Critically from an Evangelical Worldview, and welcome. If this is your first time, I would strongly ask you to consider clicking that subscribe button, telling your friends, hitting that bell to be notified of any future videos. Today, I want to talk about the current hot button issue that has been vexing our country for probably 20 years, if not more, and that's the immigration issue. I would admit to you, if I was king for a day, I would make some drastic changes. First of all, I would make coming into this country illegally a capital offense. That's how serious I would take it. Now, in order to do that, one, I know it will never happen, but if I was king for a day, I would, again, make coming into this country knowingly violating our sovereign laws, I would make that a capital offense. Now, of course, I wouldn't do that for the children. But the parents who knowingly, volitionally come into this country with, I wouldn't say malice, but forethought, and they came into this country, I would institute capital punishment. Now, of course, I say holistically, it is no deterrent, no real deterrent, capital punishment, and it takes 20 years to execute a person. Now, we have a flawed system, and so I'm going to keep using that word holistically. I would make it a capital offense for any law enforcement agency to do anything unethical, immoral, unlawful. For instance, you remember the great famous case of in New York, the park. I just lost that thought. To Central Park, the Central Park Jogger, and the prosecutor knowingly prosecuted a case that she knows she didn't have the evidence for. And in fact, the movie portrays, and I don't know if this is accurate, but the movie portrays her coming to a realization that it was a untenable case, but she said we had come too far. That person deserves death because she knowingly destroyed 6 lives, or whatever the number was exactly. Don't pinpoint me on the details. The movie that was a real life story, Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan, those police officers, they deserve death. They convinced a white Caucasian drifter to testify that, again, Jamie Foxx's character was in a liquor store, and that person knowingly. Now, I would hold him accountable, but I wouldn't institute the death penalty. He was, even though what he did was grievous, he wasn't sworn to protect the law. Those prosecutors deserve the death. You take an eye, an eye is given. And so they put, again, the character of Jamie Foxx on death row. They deserve to die. And I guarantee you, overnight, that would change 90% of the malfeasance we see in this world. And so, again, now, Old Testament, I talked to my sister girl, Pam. Old Testament, you would do an offense and you were brought before the city elders. And in short order, you were either found guilty, and remember, it had to be on the basis of at least 2 witnesses, or you were found innocent. None of this. And again, I'm not saying that we should have a trial and the next day we execute people, but we need swift justice. I guarantee you, those parents that are volitionally coming into this country illegally would think twice. That once they're caught. And so, and here's something, I know, it's pie in the sky, but if I was king for a day, we would not do any business with country that violate human rights. Who's at the top of that list? China. Now, this computer, this microphone, all the stuff we use, and hey, this hat, they all probably come from China. And that would mean I would have to pay some more. I'm willing to pay more. What China is doing to its own citizens is barbaric, it's immoral, and people like LeBron James talking about he's standing up for human rights. What the hell are you, LeBron? On China. You're a fraud. And so this is not about LeBron, but LeBron pisses me off, getting it high and mighty. But he want to affect his bottom dollar. He want to affect his endorsement deals, and you idiots keep listening to him. He's a fraud. I would hold China accountable. And if it costs me a bottom line out of my pocketbook, so be it. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? I don't love money. Now, I need money. I don't love it. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not averse to making money, and I hope to be able to make money. I'm retired. I need some money. But, excuse me, let me get back to this. And brothers and sisters, evangelicals, remember, I'm always primarily talking to you. You full of crap. You act like the Bible has not spoken about this. Have you ever talking too fast. Have you ever read the book of I'm going to say, I might be pronouncing it wrong, Philemon? That's a classic example. So as we have these illegal aliens in our country, perfect mission field. One you miss, and I might be saying that, my enunciation, if you're not coming here for enunciation, that's my ship, Rob Boyd, I'll call him back later. You're not here for my enunciation, but one you miss. He writes a letter back to his slave owner, but he tells one you miss to go back. He was a runaway slave. So, but again, he ministered the gospel. And in fact, he said, regard him as a dear brother to Philemon. He's talking to Philemon. Regard him as a dear brother. So he was going back as a slave, but remember, this is not cattle slavery. Probably one you miss sold himself into slavery because of some debt, and he ran away. Who knows what? I don't think Philemon talked about why he ran away. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But the fact is, Paul ministers to one you miss, and he counsels one you miss to go back to his master. Some of you might be offended by that language, but get over it. I'm just reporting the news. And so, brothers and sisters, we have a ready-made mission field for those who are here illegally. We want to minister the gospel. But we cannot and we will not, if we're going to live in fidelity to the word of God, we are not going to be contributors to the breaking of the law. And so we're going to counsel people to go back. And so, I'm, again, I know politics comes into it, and so I'm willing to negotiate a moratorium, a grandfathering, maybe. Everybody who's here, we grandfather you in. And then we put a hard line from this day forward. Fine, it is what it is, and as Paul says, I can't fix the past, but I'm going to press on. And so, brothers and sisters, the evangelical community, we have a great mission field to those who are here. And hey, I'm not naive. I know most of them are hiding their identity, but at some point, if God gives us opportunity, remember, we're looking for divine encounters. As God gives us opportunity, we preach the gospel to these illegal aliens. Because, hey, that's the most important thing. It's not where is their temporal home. It is where their heavenly home. And listen, my pastor said it yesterday. Everyone will live. Everyone is guaranteed eternal life. The only question is, will you be friend or foe? So, I don't get it. I don't get your thinking. When you criticize tough immigration policies, we need to secure our borders. And listen, coming to America is a privilege, it's not a right. And so criminal records, automatic disqualifications. Gang activity, automatic disqualification. Oh, and when you come here, you on one strike. It's a privilege. And so there needs to be a clear policy who can come in. And we need to, I forget what Thomas Sowell calls it, but we need to have selective immigration, meritocracy immigration. Hey, people who can come and bring skills. Now, I understand we need common laborers. And so, but again, get some smart guys in the room. Get some smart guys in the room. But definitely there needs to be some things that we won't just tolerate. And so now, what about those who send their children here? The DACA, the dreamers. This ain't easy. And believe me, we ain't gonna figure this out in a 20-minute video. But I don't understand how those in our country, and it seems to be a groundswell, that is stinking thinking. Evangelicals, we are not called to do stinking thinking. We are called to love God with all our mind, all our body, all our soul, and all our strength. We should be some of the best thinkers around. In fact, our history is replete with great thinkers. Whatever you think about Aquinas, great thinker. Whatever you think about Augustine, great thinker. Whatever you think about Wesley, Calvin, Luther, Zwingli, Whitefield, Sunday, Moody, great thinkers. The guy who wrote, Edward. And then people like Sproul, MacArthur, Bauckham, Washer. The guy, I can't think of his name. He was a great thinker. He had the Institute over in England. Oh boy. And he wrote a good book, and I don't want to dwell too much on it. It'll come to me. I'll put it in the comments. Boy, I hate when that happens. But he was a great philosopher. And of course, the guy who wrote The Lion King. And it's funny how those names escape you when you're doing it on the cuff. But those out you in the audience, you probably know the guy the people I'm thinking of. And so our history is replete with great thinkers, but boy, I tell you, it's pretty sparse. Again, I wasn't given false piety. I went to some pretty basic schools. Nothing elite. But boy, I work hard to think things through. And so we can fix this immigration. It'll be painful. but I would institute capital punishment. If you came to this country, yeah, again, let's put a line in the sand. Okay, everybody who's here, that's fine. I can take that. But from that point forward, if you're caught here illegally, it's a capital offense. And if you come and you bring your kids, I can't figure that one out. Because I'm not calling for capital. I'm not calling for a capital offense for the children. They're the innocent victims, relatively speaking. And I'm talking about kids. I'm not talking about, maybe past, I don't know. Again, get some smart people in the room. Is it going to be 16, 17, 18? Is it going to be 21? We can figure that out. And if you come, or if you send your child, you shouldn't get them back. Now that opens up a can of worms. What are we going to do for them? It's tough. But most people, they love their kids. Now, some people are willing to, sacrifice, and if they're separated, they realize there's a better place in America, and maybe you got family we can, they can become custodials of. But guys, these adults who are volitionally making these decisions to violate our sovereign immigration laws should be put to death. That will stem the flow of illegal aliens. And by the way, you come here, you have to get a job. And so whether you come here with a skill or you come here unskilled, you go to work. And you do not live off the trough. And of course, we'll be compassionate, and there'll be special situations. There are always exceptions. But for the vast majority, able-bodied people who come here, you got to go to work. You can't live off the dime. Again, it's a privilege. And so I just wanted to make this short video, 14 minutes plus the intro and whatever. And so I'm still targeting to do that video on the Roman Catholic Church. I saw something yesterday that I thought would be a good addition. I'm going to talk about President Joe Biden. I'm going to do on the Texas voter controversy, and a couple of more others as things happen. I'm going to show you a video you have to see from Pastor Paul Washer. In fact, I don't know if he's a doctor or not. I don't think he is. He's never made a mention. And of course, that's not important. But he is one of the preeminent preachers in America. Many of you don't know about him. You need to. And so I'm going to show you again. And I'm a dog with a bone. The gospel, the gospel, the gospel. Many of you don't know the gospel. Many of you think, see, it happens every time I get the hiccups. Maybe it's because I talk a lot. But many of you think you're saved and you're not. Because you don't even understand the gospel. Your gospel is, I'm okay, you're okay, we're all okay. And your life has not materially changed since you made that profession of faith. Your worldview is just like the pagan worldview. You go to the boat, you don't see anything wrong with abortion. Even though you might say, well, I wouldn't have one, but other people who do, that's on them. Hey, same-sex marriage, okay, love is love. That's one, that's the common mantra in the world today. Love is love. No, it ain't. God defines what love is. Oh, that gender thing, well, to each his own. Bull crap. And so you don't care about holiness. You are what Dr. Moeller says, therapeutic modalistic deism. That's a big fancy word. Is you live on the outside. Now, you don't cheat, you don't steal. And so you're a good moral person, but I'm here to tell you, being a good moral person don't mean crap. Unless your righteousness exceeds the Pharisees. See, the Pharisees did have righteousness. It was an external righteousness. And here, baby, it starts in here. Remember I talked last week? First, it has to come to the mind. I gotta understand the word. I gotta have intellectual cognition. That's why we understand people who have mental impairment go to heaven by grace. Now, everything's by grace. It's not two ways of salvation. God says, hey, it's not upon him who runs or wills, but it's upon God who gives mercy. God has to grant grace and mercy. And so we believe that God grants grace and mercy. Now, even though they can't cognitively express faith, but we believe that God grants grace and mercy. God's the potter and I'm the clay. And so I didn't get a vote. I wasn't involved in the council. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. So again, I don't understand you who are lax. And again, for those of you who might be conservative, I don't understand you who are not concerned with the ultimate question. The ultimate question is not whether that person goes back to their country, it's whether that person comes to know Jesus Christ. So I'm going to follow Paul's example. I'm going to preach the gospel. And then once I preach the gospel, I'm going to tell them to do what's right. What do you think? Put it in the comment section. If you want to take this journey with me, and so, hey, I'm excited. I am developing a team, and we're going to put together a YouTube Zoom class on how to critically think. Sister girl Pam McKinney, a brother from my church, I'm not going to say his name because he hasn't committed, but I'm looking to develop a team, and we're going to offer an initial offering to let you see what we're capable of offering, and we're going to then offer it to churches. And don't tell me it's not needed. Look at the Barna reports. Look at the Pew Research reports. And it's always alarming that people who are professing believers, when you ask them theological questions that they should understand, that, is it by faith and faith alone, or does good works contribute? Is baptism, and again, I'm talking about physical baptism, is that necessary to be saved? Can you lose your salvation? Those kind of questions. Can't name any of the 12 apostles, can't name the first 5 books of the Bible, and it's just gross ignorance in the church. But everybody talking about how much they love Jesus. No, you don't. If you love Jesus, wouldn't you want to know about him? Wouldn't you know about him? And wouldn't you know about his word? Wouldn't his word be precious to you? Wouldn't you be willing to invest your time and your talent and your money? Wouldn't you have a library of commentaries, and wouldn't you have logos on your phone? Wouldn't you be currently reading a book that's going to help you better understand church history and some of the issues that are prevalent in our country? Wouldn't you know more than TikTok and YouTube? And I love those things, except I don't love TikTok, but I love social. I love that stuff. I'm on YouTube all the time. I'm hoping you subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping you'll read my book. But listen, this is what I know. You can tell a Christian by looking at his checkbook. You can tell a Christian by looking at what he looks at, what he spends his time on. When's the last time you've been to a conference? You ever been to a conference? You ever been on a mission trip? They have short-term mission trips. I've done them. I love them. Looking forward to doing them again. How many of you have a desire to go to Israel to walk where Jesus walks? To go to some of the places that the Bible speaks about. Corinth. So you're not here for the enunciation, baby. But immigration. Talked long enough. If you want to take this journey with me, click the subscribe. Tell your friends. Ricky Kyles, Thinking Critically, is here to stay. And this ain't about numbers. If God brings whatever God brings. But listen, I'm gonna give you my same effort. If it's nothing more than Anita and Pam and Karen and a few others, I'm gonna give you my best, because I serve for an audience of one. Why am I doing this? So I can hear Jesus Christ say, Ricky, well done. Well done. See you tomorrow. Keep your hands to the plow and serve for an audience of one.